Hi, Dale the librarian here. I wanted to show you some resources that I put together for your specific class if you wanted to have some research help. Obviously, you can come and contact me, dale.larson@utah.edu, and I'll show you my contact information again in a minute, and I'm happy to help out. But here's a self-starter kit. So, Marriott Library homepage, libutah.edu, and go to this link right here, Research Guides. And how you get to the guide that I prepared for your class. And these are other librarians who've worked on things for your class. You type in communication and then do a search. And there's a bunch of tabs in the communication guide. So here you can see my name. There's some of the other ones. If the speech or the comm guide that you're looking for doesn't show up, just click on communication. And once you're in the guide, there's a few how-to tips for short projects, but here's individual class guides, and I would recommend this one, Public Speaking, on the tail end. And this is a guide that I prepared for a class just like yours. So how does this guide work? If you go to the Marriott Library homepage, there are the library catalog, databases, and what I mostly do in each one of these sections is talk about databases, and then I recommend some for your project, doing background research, finding pro and con, looking at rhetoric and discourse and arguments and things like that. So let me briefly run you through some of the ideas and how you can do research on your speech. So number one, analyzing trends and ideas. This is not scholarly articles per se, but this is where they'll show the pro and con of something. So for example, there's one called CQ Researcher. CQ Researcher, and this is a single journal that you can go back and forth like the past 100 years, 90 years. And it's going to give you some background information and some of the major points that they have to talk about. Some of these reports will deliberately have a pro-con section too, but you can search through the reports right up here and look up a variety of topics. CQ Researcher is awesome. It is unbiased, and it's a paid professional researcher that produces those reports. There's also some other magazines and things like that. Polling the Nations is pretty good. Pop Culture Collection is kind of lightweight stuff. Gale Opposing Viewpoints and the Pew Research Center and YouGov are polls where it'll ask people what their opinions on things are. And so you can gather data. If you wanted to cite a statistic. US Newsstream is United States newspapers, so you could type in a topic and then see date ranges and things like that. So these are all good for gathering basic information. When you want to follow up on a specific topic, say for example you were interested in looking at depression and college or something like that. You could go into a specific database, and here's some general topics. So you would go into psychology database, and you would just type in depression and college students. So we have the thing that they're talking about psychologically, and then the population that they're looking at. And then you would get, there's some scholarly articles in here, and there's some that are more practical. So if you were a practitioner in psychology or counseling, you'd find things like that. And there's 8,000 articles, so I'd recommend going by date newest so you can see things that are happening right now. Because these databases typically go back like 20 years or so. This is not everything, but these are just suggestions that I have in general. Lastly, if you want to find the best article in peer-reviewed work, Scopus and Web of Science have this cool trick where you can see the most impactful article. So say, for example, you were talking about gun control. What is the most impactful article written on gun control in the last 10 years? Well, after you do a search in Scopus, it's got this neat trick where every article that cites any other article gets this little ranking that's known as impact in some cases. But you can find that by doing cited by. So after you do a search, and then you can see motivated skepticism in the evaluation of political beliefs. Gun control is probably somewhere in there, but you can see this number down the side. These are the number of articles that have cited this particular article. And so it's almost like a popularity vote. You can see who's winning at this moment. But I want to see something in the title. It looks like they're using it. Oh, here we go. So you'd have to look through some of the titles and look for your specific title. But here's one, The Impact of Gun Ownership on Violence Rates. It's a bit old. It's from 1993. But you can see that out of all the articles, this is the one that talks about that specifically. Here's a second trick. Click on this, the articles that have cited it, and then you can sort those by number of times cited. And further on down the rabbit hole you go. But you could then look for things that are a little newer than the 1990s. Here's one from 2007 in Denmark. Looks like a lot of these are rather, oh, here's 2013. Nice. So if you're looking for rhetoric, if you're looking for statistics, if you're looking for those pieces of evidence that support an argument, these in the Campus Guide is a good way to go. Here's some open web stuff as well. But if you need any help, contact me. My email is right here, and I'm happy to help in the future. Good luck.